Hey, everybody, welcome to week 7. This week's readings had a lot of important information, but something that stood out to me was the learning theory of constructivism. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, what exactly is constructivism? Constructivism suggests that learning isn't just memorizing facts, but it's about actively making sense of new information. So, we build knowledge by connecting it to what we already know. For example, think about learning to cook a new recipe. You don't just read the instructions and instantly get it. At least most of us don't. You rely on what you already know about how to chop an onion, or how long it takes to cook chicken, or what seasonings make different flavors. You try it, you make mistakes, you adjust it, and gradually you figure out what works and what doesn't. That's why two people can follow the same exact recipe and end up with very different results. Now for some key ideas. Number one, prior knowledge shapes new learning. We aren't considered blank slates. Learners don't start from zero. We bring our background knowledge, our culture, and even our misconceptions and other experiences into every single learning situation. It all shapes how we interpret new information. For example, if I was in a room with 20 different people and I asked them what came to mind when I said the word home, it would be very different for everyone. Number two, learning is an active process. Students think, they compare, and they question. When new information doesn't align with their already existing information, they adjust it and they reconstruct their knowledge. This cognitive struggle is where learning happens. Now we have our key figures with constructivism. So Piaget, Vygotsky, Bruner. Piaget is focused more on developmental stages and how children actively construct understanding, while Vygotsky is known for ZPD, that learning happens best with guidance. And Bruner, he is known for introducing scaffolding and discovery learning to help support students as they explore ideas. Now, for the criticisms associated with constructivism. Of course, it's a widely respected theory, but there are some challenges that educators need to consider. The first one being measurement. So, the fact that it cannot measure impact or effect. Because it emphasizes personal meaning making, traditional assessments like multiple choice questions don't really capture deep understanding. So, measuring what someone truly understands as opposed to what they can memorize or reproduce can be complex and time consuming. The second one, bias in social learning. So, collaborative learning is a core component, of course, but peer interactions can sometimes reinforce misconceptions or biases. And if incorrect ideas are shared or unchallenged, they could even persist and spread. Now let's talk about the clear distinction between constructivism and constructionism. So, constructivism focuses on the internal knowledge construction through experience and reflection, as opposed to constructionism, which adds some kind of tangible component or artifact. Learning is enhanced when learners are creating something that can be shared and discussed. So, constructivism is cognitive, constructionism is both cognitive and it has a creative aspect. Now, for a realistic example of constructivism in practice. So, let's say you're in a middle school class. Students, they're being asked to figure out why ice melts faster on metal than on plastic. So, instead of the teacher lecturing and just telling them why this is happening, they're working in small groups, they're making predictions, they're designing simple experiments, they're collecting data, discussing their results. So, again, the teacher does not lecture at all. Instead, they ask guiding questions like, what did you notice? Why do you think this happened? How could we test that idea again? As students are testing and talking, they're building their own understanding of heat transfer through experience and social interaction. So they're connecting it to their prior knowledge of materials and temperature. And by the end, they present their explanation, everything supported by evidence. The class compares ideas and refines those ideas together. It's a very different experience from a teacher just standing in front of you giving you the information. All right, so why was this an example of constructivism? One, it involved active learning. So students constructed their knowledge through exploration instead of just listening to someone give them the facts or just through memorization alone. Next, it was collaborative. So students were required to learn through discussion, through shared dialogue, through shared investigation. Third, prior knowledge. So their initial ideas and, again, even those misconceptions became the foundation of their new learning. And lastly, the teacher was the facilitator. The teacher was guiding their learning instead of just giving it to them.